Alright. We are back. Sorry about that, you guys. My SD card was full. I had to delete some shit. I forgot that I had it set up to where it saves everything to an SD card as I'm streaming it. Okay. I'll let everybody hop back in the stream, and then we'll go ahead and start discussing this shit. What a day. What a day. I hope you guys are being productive as fuck. All right, cool, we're back. Sorry. So, here's the update. Time to take a dab. Give me some of that sweet, that funk, that nasty, that gushy stuff. Cheers. Oh yeah. Red light. That runs will get you, boy. Jesus. Look at the neck. No reclaim, just good clean vapor. That 30 mil deep dish. Hell no, I never put my lips on the banger. I never been that high in my life. If you get that high, you don't need to be taking another dab. Darth Gayer. You hit my runts and you was walking around with your mask on backwards? That's funny shit. That's hella funny. So, pot brothers at law. Here's basically how this conversation went. They asked me what I'm doing. I told them what I'm doing, how I do it. They told me the possible consequences for operating. They told me my rights. They told me what I could get away with and what I couldn't. And they basically said if I was looking to go legal, right where I'm at up here in Adelanto is one of the best spots because the licensing is available right now in this city. And there's a lot of people that bought up licensing and property and all that other shit here, but they're not actually operating, and they are struggling and need to be bought out or work on other terms where you could acquire their property and rebuild it or repurpose it, and basically they pay for it and you're just paying them back as you operate. So he said, and sorry, this information is going to come across jumbled because our conversation went back and forth a lot. But basically, from my notes here, he said to handle my LLC stuff for like my merchandise and my consulting and all of that through LegalZoom. Save myself some money. They're straight shooters like that. They're not trying to just take my money. They want me as a real client. Better go through LegalZoom for that. For the cannabis stuff though, when you're ready, go through us. And they have a retainer package, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $25,000, which helps cover your general counsel, acquiring the land, any contracts, as well as one application. And by one application, they mean one property. So for me, even though California has micro business licenses, which is when you can apply for 3 business licenses in one, which means you have to at least get cultivation, manufacturing, and one form of distribution, right? Either storefront or delivery. And then they also have something that I just learned about today called self-distribution, which is a form of a distribution license where you only distribute your product. You cannot distribute other people's product. And that license is only $1,000 a year for the self-distribution license. And since I'm going to be single source, I don't intend on distributing other people's products either. So it'll just be self-distribution at $1,000. So manufacturing license, which is the process of creating hash and then rosin. It's a type 6 non-solvent license. And that's at the state level. The annual fee, if you intend to gross up to $100,000, is $2,500, or if you're gonna gross anything between $101,000 to $500,000, it's $7,500. So I would expect, and this is difficult for me to put this number together, but I would assume initially I'll only make between the $101,000 to $500,000 range. I could put the $100,000 because when I first start, it's gonna have to be going only to stores, right? I'll get rid of all of my product to licensed dispensaries, and as a boutique product, as a craft product. And I'm not 100% sure if I'll be able to make that much after taxes and fees and all of that, but who knows, because it's on gross, not net. The way it works though is like, let's say I claim I'm only going to make up to $100,000, so I pay the $2,500 licensing fee for manufacturing. If I make more than that from if I make the $101,000 to $500,000 mark, then I just have to pay the difference in the fees for that year. So I would assume, let's just say we're gonna go with the $7,500. That's gonna be a license for that. And then the cultivation, I have to look up the cultivation license for that. California Cannabis Cultivation License fees. ba. So the Bureau of Cannabis Control Jesus, this is a long ass document to go through. It's like fucking, I'm not gonna find it here. 138 page fucking document, you assholes. Why couldn't you just put the fucking chart right here? You're gonna link me to a 138 page document for the prices. You assholes. Anyways, the fucking price for the cultivation, it depends on the size of the cultivation facility. Okay, here it is. So, cultivation of cannabis on an area less than 10,000 square feet for a micro business license. You can have specialty cottage outdoor, specialty cottage indoor, blah, 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 all these different types. And then you have to give all the evidence for that specific type, right? But this doesn't have the prices on it either. Anyways, it won't be that expensive. Adelanto doesn't offer micro business licenses because they want the money from people having to pay for all 3 applications separately. With the micro business license, you pay for 1 application, you get 3. So they don't allow that. They make you basically purchase 3 separate licenses. So I could still have cultivation, manufacturing, and distribution all on my property, but it would be 3 separate licenses that I would have to apply for. And so he said, because of Adelanto, they have so many available licenses and so many situations where people are trying to sell their license or their facility, that because the craft size that I'm trying to target, he said, dude, you can make good money. There's a lot of marketplace for you, you know, as a boutique guy. And you can get in fairly quickly. An expected cost, when all said and done, between $100,000 to $150,000 for my size. That's for, you know, under the 10,000 square feet. And that's still pretty big. He's like, for around 5,000 square feet, you know, I could do my cultivation and all that. And that's fucking plenty, man. And he said there's a lot of land that's already available and licensed and zoned. He said my first step is just going to be finding the land, right, where it's zoned and approved, and then getting the land bought and getting all the licensing and all that started, and getting the city is going to want, like, for your business plans, for your approval to operate, you need to get like a security professional to come over, do a schematic of your building, and design a security system for your building. They're like no longer accepting when somebody does their own like plan. They want a security professional that has a license number and everything to do the planning for your building. So I have to do that with the security. I have to do that with the safety and fire. I have to do that with the actual grow. And I'm like, I design grow rooms for facilities. Are you sure? He's like, yes, because every state is very specific, and even each municipality is very different. And so he's like, we have specific vendors that we can recommend. You can use them or not use them if you want, but they'll help you get all your paperwork in order. For the things like the employee handbooks and all these like random documents that they require, they have generic templates that they can use and cut and paste to my business name and all that stuff. So they'll give me all the ones that they have generic templates for, and then the rest that I need custom to my, you know, licensing and application, they'll refer me to vendors, or I can find my own vendors to help me put those together. So he said there's 2 ways into it really that he recommends for me. The first would be finding the land, buying the land, and then they have pods that they sell that are already like pre-built to code, and they just come and drop them off on the land and hook it up to power and whatnot, and you're good to go. And so you could do something like that, and I can run those pods and set up shop and have, you know, cultivation here, manufacturing here, distribution here, right? And there's also a P licensing for packaging where you can like roll joints, shake, blah blah blah. That's separate, but anyways, I'd have them all separate, right? The other option is I can find a facility that's already built out and they just want to sell it and it's already licensed, you know, and then I just come in and take it over and go from there. Or, you know, I can look at somebody who is not doing so good and is already, you know, licensed and operating, and they are looking to be taken over or bought out or whatever. There's a lot of that going on where people just bought off more than they can chew. So he said, we'll help you find whatever situation is going to be best for you. And they do a lot of digging on that. That's part of their retainer. So right now, I guess the move is, I got to stack some bread. You know, my deposit today goes towards the retainer. I'm pretty sure the retainer package that I'm going to go with is their $10,000 retainer package. It's going to get them working for me to start finding the land, the property, the licensing, and then once that ball gets rolling, and we finalize the purchase of the land, I can pay an additional $10,000 to make it a $20,000 retainer, which will have them help me with the application process for the rest of that property, which will include all the various licensing I need to get that whole property up and running. You know, all the city and state permits and licenses, all of that. They'll help do it all, quarterback it all, so that I can get all the proper documentation lined up and good to go. So that is kind of the situation right now. On top of the, you know, saving for the retainer for the lawyer, I'm obviously going to have to start putting together the bread for the build itself. You know, and the facility build out, depending on what I do, pods, pre-build, etc., it could vary big time. So I don't even want to play around with that number. I know what it cost me to build out this room through trial and error. So, you know, I've got, the build's not an issue. Put it like that. The build's not an issue, and I've got backers behind me. If I choose to go legal, I already have backers and I have partners, like, you know, actual partners. So what are you guys talking about in here in this chat? Everything is going to go to one legal spot. If I do this move, it's a fucking chop it off move, man. It's got to go 100%. It's all good, man. Shipping containers, yeah, they make them like pre-converted and shit. Cuban grower got arrested. I don't follow him, but let's see. I know who he is. Don't type in Cuban grower arrested on Google, because it just comes up with a bunch of like actual Cuban growers. Somebody else is gonna have to find that one. But my plan, honestly, if I'm gonna make this jump, which I intend to, it's not gonna be sudden at all. I'm gonna have to stack my own capital. I'm gonna have to build my local clientele in California, because it will no longer be able to reach the masses. I have to build a clientele here. But I don't want to go to any banks. If I do it, it's gonna be from my circle of bosses, basically. It's gonna be me putting up a very large chunk of, everything, and then I'll bring in maybe one financial backer, in the form of one of my family members who is very, very open-minded about this, and then one operational partner. You guys know already, I'm not afraid to say my boy Good Vibes. So between my financial backer and then Good Vibes, I'm fairly confident that we could realistically get this thing up and going in the next year. But I wouldn't want to rush into it, Yeah, plug and play type deal, MX. Yeah. And see, there's a lot of logistics that are coming into play. And me personally, knowing what I know from the energy sector, my uncle worked at SoCal Edison up until just recently. Here he grows, the guy you guys are calling Darth Vader and shit. He works at SoCal Gas. I got a lot of friends in politics in local counties, and it's all coming through. LEDs are being mandated all over California. They're offering huge breaks and incentives for people to switch to LED, or just to start out with LED in general. So there's for me, I want to do it all indoor, all LED, silent LED all the way. By then the Gen 2 Kush will be out. I'll roll with those. I personally will go with vertical integration if the building makes sense. All right, now I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna preface it with something else, because there's too many sissy motherfuckers in here that are gonna try and distort what I say and run and tell. Okay, Lost Leaf, aka Matt, is my homie. I think he's crushing it on his setup right now. But I personally would not have ran a vertically integrated setup like he is doing right now. I personally think it would be easier to manage, and you'd pull more yield. I personally would pull more yield from a normal setup and growing larger plants. Period. This guy's got 8-foot ceilings. You gotta have, in my personal opinion, that doesn't allow enough room for your plants to get big enough to produce the type of nugs I'm looking for and fill in the canopy the way I'm looking for, unless, you're manifold training and doing intense training. So I think you need a little bit more space, and I think that if he were to have 12-foot ceilings and he could have, 4 to 5 foot of canopy space instead of 3 that he has right now, I think he would absolutely fucking crush it, and that would be absolutely the best way to go. Vert boys, I fucking hate that shit. Every time I'm scrolling through stories and I hear Vert boys, baby. Oh my fucking god, how little is your dick that you have to remind yourself of your name every time you're recording. I can't support that. I goddamn wish I could block repost from that guy. Nothing against him personally, other than I fucking hate that shit. I think it's so arrogant and annoying as shit. Like, I just, it's annoying. It's really fucking annoying. That guy kills it. He fucking kills the vertical gang. I have nothing bad to say about the boy's fucking grow game. The man crushes it. Everything he says about growing vertically makes total fucking sense. But my man is running fucking HPS bulbs and shit. If I go vertical, I'm gonna hang some fucking Raging Kush vertical. I don't know if you guys saw, I posted a picture when I did that in the room when I was rehanging them. I had the whole aisle in the middle was just vertical Kush blasting to the side. It was bananas. I bet it would be crazy, but I can't deal with that shit. Vertical integration is typically the vertical integration of licensing. So if you have more than one license, you're vertically integrating your licensing. But we're talking about his stacking, just his pip horticulture racks. But anyways, me personally, it depends on the building that we get, and I'm gonna be real. If this pops off, I'm not trying to have more than me and maybe one other person working there. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. And it could be me and my wife for all I care. You know what I'm saying? I'll teach her. But I 125 million% believe with the experience I gained over the last couple of years, I could automate a facility to the point where I could have, 4 decently sized flower rooms, a veg room, a dry room, a fucking dawning room, a waste room, a fucking wash room, store room. I could do all of that. All of that. I would use the Irrigation Kush 100%. Is Lost Leaf able to go back to a regular grow? He would have to change a lot of his licensing because they have the schematics, they have the standard operating procedures, the manuals, employee handbooks. Everything literally is put in its specific place for a very specific reason. So if he were to change something drastically like that, he would have to go back to the books and get approval and submit plans before he even makes any changes. So in Adelanto, which is the local municipality here, their tax code due here, so they have the application fee is $7,000 per use, right? And it's non-refundable, which means for cultivation, $7,000, manufacturing, $7,000, and distribution, $7,000. So I'm looking at $21,000 in application fees per year, non-refundable, and that's separate from the land use application fee. Cultivation permit expires after 12 months unless it's renewed. It has to maintain It has to pass the requisite cultivation permit inspections. A cultivation permittee that has maintained compliance with all city, state, and other applicable cannabis and business-related laws shall be entitled to renew its cultivation permit, subject to all prevailing laws at the time of the renewal. You have to check in the approved zones and get land use agreements and building use agreements. You need a cannabis approval and a land use approval before operating. If you're going to operate inside of an existing building, you have to get a minor conditional use permit. If you operate in a new building, you have to apply for a conditional use permit, location development plan, and an environmental assessment. Adelanto accepts applications for both medicinal and adult use cannabis. Permit fees are separate for each. Also accepts applications for cannabis cultivation, manufacturing, volatile or non-volatile, distribution and transportation, nurseries, and testing. It does not accept applications for dispensaries or non-storefront retail facilities at this time. Previously permitted medicinal dispensary operators may apply for adult use. Jesus. You can start your, you can not have a temporary use permit for cannabis. All land use activities must be proposed as permanent structures. So you can't have modular buildings set up to operate temporarily until your main building gets established. Unless your main building is going to be the modular structures. And if so, they need to still meet building code. Greenhouses are not banned, but they still must meet building code, be fully enclosed and screened from view. You must submit to the San Bernardino County Fire Department separately. If your site does not have access to water, sewer, or roads, they're going to have specific requirements. You have to get approval from Fire Department, the Mojave Desert Air Quality Management District, the Lohontan Water Board. Wow. And here's a flow chart. So a minor conditional use permit, if it's already existing, or a local development plan and conditional use permit if the land is vacant. Those are the land use approvals. Once you get the land use approval, then you move on to the cannabis approvals, and applicant decides which permits they need. So here I would either go with adult use cultivation or medicinal cultivation. I have to look into both of these, but personally I think medicinal is where it's at, so I'd probably go there. And so I'd go medicinal cultivation, medicinal manufacturing, and then medicinal distribution / transportation, because I don't want a delivery and I'm not going to be a dispensary. So I'd get those three, right? Oh shit. Oh, that's better. Okay, so I'd apply for those three. Then I'd go on to building and safety approval, and there's several types of building permits that are going to be required depending on, you know, how I do the build out. So once I get all the various building and safety approvals, then we can go on to construction, and then after construction, then we can get the certificate of occupancy from the city, which is we're going to require approval from fire, public works, building and safety, planning, code, water and sewer. Okay, so all of those have to come through and do their safety checks, give me the write-off, and then boom, the city will give us the business license, right? And that doesn't mean we're approved to operate yet. It just means they gave us the business license and said we're going to be approved to do business, but it doesn't mean we can start. But that gives us the paperwork we need to go to the state and start the state paperwork and get their licenses, which is the manufacturing and all that other shit. Okay, so while that's going through and the city is finishing up their end, you'll get that back from the city saying, all right, now you're approved to operate. The state comes in and says, all right, you're good, and then boom, you start operating. And this does not include requirements from other agencies that might be relevant during the different stages of permitting. There might be other shit. This is just the baseline. So, there is a lot of shit. Read between the lines, because that's what lawyers are for. How much money does it cost? I'm expecting $350. I think, personally, after doing everything, it's gonna be $350. And what's crazy, a year ago, I would have heard that number and went, never. I hear that number today, and I look around, and I'm looking at my circle of bosses like, this isn't a solo project, this is a group project. Who's about to step up? Who wants in on this? Because I was gonna do a solo, but he said the size I'm thinking, he thinks about $1 to $1.50. But I'm thinking, knowing how I like to do shit and the equipment that I get and blah blah blah, and granted I have a fucking shit ton of equipment already, right? I mean, my washroom's basically already built. A few extra things to throw in there, but yeah, I'm gonna need a fuck ton of lights and trays and a bunch of shit. So there's no way all that's calculated into his cost, you know? I'm gonna have to, I think my best bet is gonna be to pay the $10,000 retainer so that he can start finding a location for me to get moved into and get set up and running, because that's what he's good at. That's what he does. He has those connections. He has that leverage, and he's all over this area all the time. So he could find a spot where he could be like, hey dude, you know what, you can move into this spot fucking you know, in 2-3 months, and this is how much it's going to cost you, and this is how the deal will go down, and you know, you can just run shop, and you're going to break off the owner this amount of money every month until he's paid back. But you know, that way I'm buying the property and the land with his money, basically. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying him out of profits. I just got to get up and running. So I think that's going to be the best way to go about it, because who else has that? Who else has that connection? Oh, Najwa, what up? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wasn't even looking at the chat. I appreciate you. I would not want the Whistler Tech system, no. I saw the Grow Boss review me a long time ago. That guy's a knucklehead. I haven't seen anything recently from him because I stopped paying attention to him. Huh. Anyways, just getting caught up on what you guys are saying. Let me show you what's going on in the grow room. The caked up cherries are starting to grow. Start topping these bitches so they can start bushing out, so I could take a bunch of clones from them. I'm gonna want to take clones from these in probably like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Grow Boss can suck my balls. I think it's getting a little crazy in here, so right now I'm dialed back on the lights. We're at 465 ppsv.
80 degrees in the room. We're set at 83. 65% humidity, 2.7 EC, 5.7 pH. Running 1200 ppm CO2 in the room right now. And the lights are coming on at 6:30 and going off at 8:30. That was yesterday. And so today I'm gonna go ahead and drop that some more. So right now they're at 13 and a half hours of light. We're almost down to 12:12. By Wednesday we'll be at 12:12. And with that change, we're also going to do this. Check this. We're going to set the PPFD value up on the Troll Master and then through the Science app as well. And right now, remember, we're only at like 465, so I don't want to jump up too fast, but we're going to go up to 500. Okay, and then the rest I got to do through my phone app. Okay, phone. Move the par meter up. So we're at 65% right now, but we got our cools down and our warms up. So right now what we're gonna do is I'm manipulating these into flour. I want them to stack hard. I'm gonna go ahead and switch up my recipe. So you can see, I'm gonna walk you through my recipe real quick. I know it's hard to see. My lights come on at 6:30 in the morning. They do not ramp on, they just turn straight on, with the blues up to 50%, and then the red and the warms just down to 1, barely on. And the intensity overall is at 40, okay? And then at 6:40, 10 minutes later, the reds and the warms kick on, okay? That initial blue spike is a cryptochrome signaling period, which is that initial, that blue light that peaks over the horizon first thing when the sun starts coming up. It signals the plant to start drinking more right away. It wakes it up faster. Okay, so we do that initial blue cryptochrome signaling for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then after that, we turn on the rest of the spectrums, right? And we boost the intensity up from 40 to 45. And then we do that for 20 minutes. And then at 7 o'clock, the blues go up to 80, the reds go up to 100, and the warms go up to 87. And overall intensity is right now at 65, okay? And then, you know, when it's nighttime to start the sunset at 8 o'clock, I start dropping my blues down, I drop the overall intensity down, and then I get rid of my blues and my warms all together at, you know, 8:10, and I just have my reds run at a lower intensity for 20 minutes until everything goes off at 8 o'clock, or 8:30, excuse me. So that's the schedule. So right now we're gonna modify this midday schedule right here, where we're at 65%. And I'm going to dial back on my reds, and then we're going to boost the blues. I'm not dropping my reds completely. That's something Lost Leaf does. I'm not going to do that. I want to still have some stretch in here, so I'm just going to gradually back off. And as I back off of the spectrums, I'm gonna have to increase that intensity. It's gonna tell me it's not matched. That's fine. I'm gonna load that recipe now. And then it's at work. Now we should see this PPFD go up from what it was at. And we should see the spectrum shift just slightly. And if we go over here to the spectrum, when this updates right here, we'll see this go from 65 up to 80. We'll see these knobs switch around. So, boom, spectrum shift. We're running a lot more blue now. And we're gonna check our par, and we went up to about 600. Sorry, that one's hard to read. Went up to 600 about right there. So it's a pretty significant jump. I'll probably back that off some. We'll see. I'm gonna see how the plants respond. But that will help encourage a little bit more stacking, as well as when I hit them with the Power SI and Athena AG stack combo. I might lose you guys due to the connectivity in here. I'm gonna try not to, but I wanted to give you guys a good view. Roots, a little bit of algae, but roots. Each plant has 8 tops. And I'll just guide them as we go. Pluck fan leaves if needed. So one of my tricks that I'm going to use when I flip is at defoliation, you don't need to strip everything. I've tried not stripping. I've tried stripping a lot. Tried everything in between, and what I found works best for me is, like, let's say you're gonna go flip to flower. We'll look at this plant right here. So this is the main, one of the main branches right here. Sorry, these families are annoying. So here's one of the main branches. It comes up and it splits into these 2 branches, right? One here and one here. So this bottom node, I'm gonna take this node when I go to flip, because this is way down here. I know it's not gonna keep up, and I don't want it to. Right? So I'll take this off, but I'm gonna leave the fan leaf because those are stored carbohydrates that are gonna help it push through flower faster and bigger, okay? This is what I would call a sucker branch. It's gonna take more nutrients to power this growth than this is going to provide to the rest of the plant. This established fan leaf isn't taking much at all to stay alive. However, it is providing a manufacturing plant for this plant to photosynthesize and uptake nutrients and, you know, do the whole process. So when I go through and I defoliate prior to flipping, I'm going to remove this lower node. I'll remove this lower node on the other side, right? And I'll probably leave, you know, the very top, these nodes right here below it at this level. And maybe these 2 right here, right? These 2 right here. And then every node below that, I'm gonna get rid of it, right? Snip, 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 snip. But I'm gonna leave their fan leaves as little powerhouses for the plant. So get rid of what's taking away from the plant and leave what's contributing to the plant as much as possible. The only fan leaves that I'm going to remove are the ones that are legitimately blocking other nodes, like one of the 8 main branches, like this one right here in the middle. This one's a pretty big fucking fan leaf that's just sticking on up, blocking a bunch of shit. I can either tuck it away, if I can bend it out of the way and keep it out of the way. I'd rather bend a fan leaf out of the way than break it off, okay? If it keeps growing back into that position, that bitch has gotta go. Anyways, I think they're pretty good. They're all about 1 foot to 1.5 feet tall with 8 big ass thick branches, a thick ass stalk, and really robust root systems that are ready for flower. There's one thing I've learned throughout the years. I'm gonna get ridiculed no matter how I grow my plants. I could grow them big as fuck, and then people will say, well, look how tall you got them. Why are they so big? And then I can grow them small and bonsai them and keep them really small and thick. And people will be like, oh, you vegged so long. Why is your plant so small? Can't make everybody happy. So I don't. Just worry about me. This is traditionally the method that I like to grow, though, is longer veg time, but keep the plant small. Just because it's short doesn't mean it's not a robust plant. The black thing underneath those cubes is called a root riser. It allows air under the cube so that the roots can dry out or reach out for the air underneath the cube, and they can dry out and not get slimy and root rot underneath there just from just sitting on the plastic. So I'm just reading through these. How early can you flip to flower? Whenever you want. Whenever you want. I actually need to hang another fan. Oh, you guys want to see something cool? I want to show you guys something cool. I got the wash set up, done. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Look. The 160 gallon. I'm still waiting on my reservoir cover, but I threw a ball valve, the unionized ball valve, elbow, another union, SureFlow strainer filter, a SureFlow pump, a union, and then an RO hose with just a hose sprayer, garden hose sprayer. Now, I thought I was going to have to leave this pump hooked up to like a switch, you know what I'm saying, because I didn't think it would just turn off on its own from pressure. Like, I didn't think it was like a leader pump is pressure sensing, so when you're not using it, it turns off. Well, guess what? Did you hear that little brrr? This one is too. I ain't even know it. Check it out. Watch. Oh shit. Ready? Oh shit. You ready? I'm gonna do it again. Watch it. Oh shit. And then look at the pressure we're getting now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, the pump turned on. I know. No leaks, no nothing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm happy. It's about time. We're about to wash. I'm gonna put some bleach in here and get this all cleaned out from its travel here. Make sure there's no dust or anything. And then once I rinse it all out, I'll drop it into this tube, and that'll go outside and then down the drain. And then I'm going to fill it up with fresh, clean RO and ice. And then by tomorrow, it'll be full of ice cold water. And I'm going to get a single source wash of the ice cream cake. We're going to get that done up tomorrow. Not in here. I'm going to do it by hand. And it's going to be a good wash. I'm going to enjoy using my new hose. And I'm just waiting on my new vessel from S9 Steelworks to come, and then I'll have that hand washing vessel, and I'll probably take the Avanti and get rid of it. Probably just hand wash everything for a while, and then maybe I'll use the Avanti on trim runs if maybe. But if I have that other vessel, I don't really see the point in keeping the Avanti around. So, what do you guys think? Fucking bacon vape go legal? Should bacon vape fucking ride the train? See what happens over these next couple years? And they should make, you should be able to sell cannabis like fucking, like jewelry on Etsy. I'm not selling fucking cocaine, man. God damn it. Bullshit. You can hose down your car with that thing. Yeah, I could. Definitely not what I want to use it for, but I got a pressure washer for that. Yeah. What's up with the title? Sorry, brother, you were a little late to the conversation, but we've been talking about me going legal here in California market. If you rewind the stream, you can catch up on that conversation and then come back to a live part and join us. I feel like my name has a good enough following as it is to where if I were to put my product in a couple specific locations, I could make, you know, my drops sell out at these dispensaries, you know, and I think that it could provide some much needed higher quality meds to the legal market, because what are the options? Name a couple of good, consistent legal brands. I'll wait. The difference between what I'm doing now and going legal is I can't reach the same audience going legal because it has to be sold locally. Right now, majority of my market is out of state market because I just don't want to do business with the local market. People in the local market, you want to know why? I don't know if anybody watching this is from the local market. People in Southern California wonder why they don't have my product, and it's because none of the chads that deal with product down here want to carry good product unless it's going to put a huge profit in their pocket. And I didn't do all of the fucking work growing it, washing it, pressing it, post-processing it, packaging it, to put majority of the profit in the middleman's hand. So if you're going to carry my product
as somebody who wants to resell it, then you're gonna have to pay my price just like everybody else and hope that you have a market for it where you can upcharge, because I'm not gonna take loss on my shit for you. What? Why would I take food off my family's table and put it on yours? What incentive do I have? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, I'm not gonna do the middleman route. I'm gonna go direct. So if I'm gonna get the distribution, I'm gonna go direct to the the dispensaries, and I'm gonna tell them, look, you guys want to carry a very exclusive craft product that's going to sell out every single time at whatever price you want, then here's what you're gonna pay me. You don't want it? I'll go to the next person that does. Because there's always a fucking market for it. You know what I'm saying? So, especially if you see the rosin that's fucking being put out, you know? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for me once I go legal to collaborate with other states that are licensed, but it's very difficult to do that right now because all the states operate under different law. I mean, fucking counties have different laws right now, so it's extremely difficult to navigate that. Check. I got a meeting with my boss. Hey there, Todd. How are you? Hello. My mic muted again from the desktop.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
That was interesting. Yeah, I kind of got dropped from the sky.
Oh, I don't know. My internet's been dropping out here. My ISP has been dumping like every day, multiple times a day. Yeah.
Hi, well, how's it going? Sorry I had to move this from Friday.
No worries. All is going well. I am managing the fishing campaigns right now and scheduling a meeting with BPM to get them trained on reviewing the results of their campaigns so that they can get all that data that they want. And then they'll be setting up their campaign for the next quarter as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, I saw Saji had reached out to say, hey, did you tell us our numbers, right? So you're going to sit down with them and show them how to find that out?
Exactly.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. How's our numbers looking? Have you looked at ours, or they're still going?
No, they're still going. I think NBS is done. Let me refresh their campaign real quick and see.
I don't think I saw their campaign.
I haven't seen it either. But when it was going last, it had only sent to a handful of users. So it, let me see. I wonder if it went straight to our spam.
It was something with COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah. It says it sent to 388 people. But that doesn't sound like all of NBS. Isn't NBS like 700?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that list and see who all it sent to versus the list that I updated, because that seems like it's not everybody. But out of the 388, it looks like nobody fell for it. 16 people opened it, but nobody's clicked on it. Energies had 140 people sent to already. Same thing, nobody's fell for it. And it says NBS is still sending emails right now. I'll have to check on that. I'm not sure. It seems like maybe it got hung up. But yeah, so far we're doing good. Nobody's fallen victim yet.
Well, just one of the spam, they probably.
Well, no, it says for NBS it is sending to 740 users. It's going to be done sending on July 31st.
Oh wow.
I must have clicked on the wrong Friday on that one.
Oh, okay.
Well, NBS has an extended campaign, I guess. But the other ones are still running on time, so it's not like they're waiting for this one to finish.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure how that happened. Have you had any chance to talk with Steve yet about the patching efforts?
Well, I saw Philip did his change, right?
Yeah, I've been working with Philip on that and Marco.
Was there a broader thing I needed to talk to Steve about? Okay.
Just in general, we need more traction on these vulnerabilities because, like you said, the updates that we need to apply to that document for vulnerability management.
Oh, I see.
I can't even begin typing out saying this is what we're doing because we're not even doing remotely close to anything that I would need to put down. You know.
Well, let's take tomorrow's vulnerability management and talk to that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think us doing that document alone will put the pressure on them to adhere to the timelines.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That'll cover that then.
Okay.
Other than that, no, Philip was great in getting that knocked out quick. And Ramesh too.
You only did on NCI local, which is a different domain, so you still got to do NCI win, so hopefully they'll do that.
Right. So we'll rescan after that and see if it's on the DC side or the host side where we still have vulns or if they're all taken care of. But it should be taken care of after that.
Okay. Yeah. I know we definitely can do better on vulnerability management, but I think the SEC is being a little stickler on this one. But
yeah, I mean the policy is not the hard part, and I think we just need to establish what those timelines are going to be, and that's where I was getting into. I think we're going to need, at least temporarily, maybe some dedicated catch-up people to help get us caught up to get some of these high-risk ones down.
right. Yeah, I would agree that we can be head down. Okay. Yeah. Maybe what you could do is think through a kind of a straw man or something to say, hey, if we put down criticals are patched within 48 hours, although that's not true, right? Criticals, we got criticals open.
We have exploitable criticals that have been open for 2+ months. So that's where I was like, how do I even say that we're adhering to any type of timeline?
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, even if I were to take those high risk triage boards, and completely ignore the thousands and thousands of other vulnerabilities, I would be creating hundreds of tickets just to address the high risk stuff right now.
Right.
So that's why I was thinking we gotta put together some type of task force that we can go through and at least knock out a significant chunk, and just take it in chunks and be like, hey, we're gonna knock out these 10 vulnerabilities across the board. We got to figure out something, because the one at a time, this maybe getting one handled every 3 to 4 weeks, we're never gonna get caught up.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Alright, well, like I said, maybe come up with here's our aspiration. We need to get here, and the SEC's holding our feet to the fire.
Yeah.
Now maybe what we could do is, we could I guess we could say, okay, SEC, we'll get that server that's used for the SEC down to no criticals, no highs, because I think that's in pretty good shape, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what asset group we're looking at too.
Right, so if we make a special asset group up just for the SEC and say, okay, here's your results and here's our policy for you guys, criticals within 24 hours or whatever it might be. I don't know how we manage that as a exception until we get the rest of the environment down to stuff,
We can automate it for that small group of assets where if any, critical or high vulnerability is discovered, it'll automatically generate a ticket.
Okay.
I mean, if we have just our small target group that we need to use for the audit, then that's 100%. I could get the ball rolling on that now, so that we can at least get those caught up, presentable, and show a process.
Right. Hey, because I think we had our meeting and you're starting to put tickets in, right?
Yes.
But I don't know if I want to show them those tickets yet, right?
I don't think so yet. No.
Yeah.
Not unless you want to see like tickets open 2-3 weeks ago with no updates.
Right. Yeah. And unfortunately, this is a gap that we can't move forward until we close it. So we'll have to talk through that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now they were good about scoping it down. So we can scope it down. Maybe that makes sense. There's just so many things to do.
Well, I'll go through and make sure I have, our aspirations listed on that policy document. I'll highlight them and add comments. That way, tomorrow when we go to the meeting, I can just pull that up and we can add on to it, change it, whatever.
Okay, that will work.
Okay. Other than that, I don't think I had anything for you.
Let me look at my notes here. Well, public sector, we got to figure out what we're going to fish down, right?
I was just gonna weave them in between the ones that I already scheduled.
Oh,
Since
okay,
they're
yeah.
completely separate and they report to a different group anyways, it doesn't matter if they're running simultaneously.
Okay, well, I would say if you're ready to do that, go ahead and kick that off.
Okay.
You might want to send a note to Eric and tell him, Eric Wells, and say, hey, by the way, we're going to do our first fish to the, well, here, let me send you an email and tell you what to copy. How about that?
Okay, that works.
Because I think I want to copy Rose and Jim McDonald, because if they start getting fishes and they report fish mailbox, they don't need to react to them, or they can react very quickly and say, yep, this is a no fishing exercise,
Right.
You know what, maybe I should do a quick call. When do you want to start those guys?
I was gonna kick one off tomorrow. I was just gonna go down that list of segments. I'm not sure who I was gonna do first. Maybe advanced solutions.
Let me see if I can find time on Thursday or Wednesday. So, Rose. I want Eric Wells. I want Vlad. So Eric's out. Vlad's not. I can find some time it's your lunchtime, but is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
2 o'clock, 2 to 2:30 Central Time on Wednesday, where we can talk about it and say, hey guys, this is our first, our first fishing campaign against public sector. We're just gonna let them report it like they normally would, and Vlad will let you know what the campaign's going to look like, so you can tell the service desk, go from there.
Are we telling? Oh yeah, we're gonna tell our service desk. Are we telling the public sides too?
I've got Vlad. Let me do Jason right here. Because it looks like Eric's out. Looks like Eric Wells is out. So, okay, we'll just do this and maybe we can kick it off the next day then.
Okay, that works.
Discuss the first machine. Okay. Here, I'll just say review queue. Okay, so there, we'll do a review campaign response to staff reporting the simulation detail. Other topics, some of that. Okay, but I feel better doing that, at least we can let them know.
Okay, that works for me.
You know, they can invite others if they. Okay, let me go back to notes. You're not a Mac guy, are you?
A Mac guy?
Yeah, Macintosh?
Mm-mm.
No, okay.
I never have been. I could never get the hang of it. Going from Microsoft to Mac, I was like, where is everything?
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah.
No, I don't really have anything written down. I think just keep bird dog and damn vulnerability.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep just trying to pick the ones that are gonna make the biggest impact on our overall risk and lower our score. Hit the most assets possible.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty. No, nothing here. You finally getting some warm weather over there?
Oh yeah, it's really hot. It was probably in the 90s the last few days.
Oh, that's warm. It's been like 110.
Oh yeah, you guys get really hot, right?
Yeah.
No, we haven't been that hot. We have not been over. I don't think we've hit 100 temperature-wise. I think we hit 100 with heat index, right? When they put the humidity.
I wouldn't want to be walking in downtown Chicago when it's 100 degrees out. It probably smells horrible.
It's actually a pretty clean city, but it is pretty sweaty, you know.
As I'm saying, you got all these people walking around for work. Everybody walks there.
And not anymore. That city's pretty dead, I think. I haven't been down there since March, you know.
Oh, dang. Oh, you been working from home this whole time?
Yep.
Oh, good luck. You're not going to want to go back.
Yeah, I don't think we actually have to. Like, you know, it's probably going to be IT's going to work remote.
That's good. That's good. All right. Well, have a good weekend.
All right, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Bye. That's how you end a meeting with the boss right there.
What? How do I allow it? God damn it, that should have been allowed. Boss shit, Jordan Williams, that's right. Fuego. I said have a good weekend. I just caught that. It is Monday. It's because I usually talk to him on Fridays. It's not that I'm high. Usually our one-on-one meetings are every Friday at this time. But he rescheduled it to Monday this week because we was busy last week. So usually at the end of these meetings, I'm saying have a good weekend, and so is he. I didn't even think about it right now until you said that though. That's fucking hilarious. Bro, my man's in here talking about check out the SoundCloud. That is funny. I'm gonna have to hit him up real quick. That's funny shit. Nah, I actually told the wife that I told her, you know, I'm gonna have to start planning on when I make that transition, because there's gonna become a point during this transition where my efforts to go legal, build and operate and all that is going to require more attention than I can spread myself, you know. So I'm going to have to give up the full-time 9 to 5, and that way I can dedicate myself to going balls deep on making shit work. That's the only way I'm going to be able to do it. I can't do both. It's hard, man. It's hard. But yeah, I want to go ahead and get some ice going in this fucking reservoir. Wash tomorrow. I'm excited. I'll go show you guys the material real quick. My best question from IG. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of good questions. I feel like people didn't really take advantage of asking the types of questions I was expecting. A lot of people were just trying to low-key get advice on what they should do with their grow. Whatever their grow is, however big or small. Just mostly people just trying to hit me up for grow advice. So that was annoying. Oh, what the shit balls? Fucking frozen shit. So I still got this runts. I gotta wash this. And then I've got some Dragon House Terps in there for the VA giveaway. This is a ice cream cake that I'm gonna be washing. Like red buds. The bright green leaves.
So I got a few bags of that to get through. And I'll probably do one small test wash of that. Hi, what happened? Why are you crying?
Oh, because I told her she didn't chew in the bed. She wasn't going to take a nap, so I'm just going to take her to the store. And Lila's sleeping.
Okay, I'll pull her up. Baby, what's wrong? Do you need a beso? Give me a beso.
Go get, put her in your chanclas.
Oh, go get your chanclas, mamas. Go get your chanclas for daddy. What about you? Can I get some lips? What's up?
Some lips? Should I do it how you do it?
Stop crying, you're fine, baby. Anyways. Bin full. The ice, baby. I have one concern with this ice that I did not think about before. Even though this is insulated and it's cold because of the ice, this bin is not actually being cooled. So this ice is, it's not, it's gonna sound weird, it's soft. It's not super duper hard. You get me? So it's gonna melt faster than, you know, the ice that you buy in bags at the store that's stored in this freezer. The ice is hard and frozen. It's slightly different in this bin. It's not frozen hard like that. It's not something that I considered. Something that should be taken into consideration. Yeah, I'm gonna have bags of ice. I'm gonna have some reusable bags, and I have the other freezer that I'll store excess material in. Nah, it's not refrigerated. Yep. I'm not worried about it too much. Pull up my daughter real quick. She's supposed to be sleeping. Let's see. She's knocked out. All right, let's get a dabberoni in here. Nah, not always. My first couple grows, I grew big plants. One plant per light. One plant per light. I would net it, and it would just be massive deep water culture, recirculating deep water culture, aeroponics. And then when I went to aeroponics, I started doing more plants, more sea of green, and I would throw the net over it just to help control it. That did good, but aero and deep water culture
didn't really scale up that well unless you had the money for like undercurrent system. That didn't come out until, you know, actually it came out right when I started growing, and it was super expensive. Yeah, the design could definitely be better, man. It's it actually has a drain at the bottom of the ice tub, so that the ice is constantly melting and making more ice. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because think about it like this: do you want ice or anything sitting in there for an extended period of time, or would you rather have it be melting away and giving you fresh ice? I personally would rather have it give me that fresh ice, and I feel like when it's melting off, there's less of a chance of you getting like a microbial or bacterial buildup. But I don't know, who knows? I'm not an ice machine professional, I just got one. Who knows? Anyways, I don't know if this will work, but I'm gonna try something. Here He Grows was telling me I need to do better with how I position my dab session videos. He's like, they need to be more on the dabs and your logo and fucking blah blah blah. So let me see something. Let me see how you guys like this. Up, this more down, so we balance. There we go. Move my granola bar out of the way a little bit here. And then I'll put these over there and you guys can see what I'm smoking on. How's that? My wallet, you can see it. Oh, that's my old information. My address anyways. But thank you. Let's get it. This is the runts. Yeah, you need to get an e-nail for sure. E-nails are where it's at. You save so much money on concentrate that you're not wasting. It's crazy how much rosin and material you waste. Yeah, it's self-cleaning. Oh, it focused on my stupid face. That's not cool.
3 gallons of water enough a day for flushing? There's no way to really answer that without knowing how big your pot size is. Measure how wet you get it, how much it dries back. Measure your ingoing EC and your outgoing. And once your outgoing EC gets down to where you want it, then you know you're flushed, you know. Alright, let's see. How much battery I got left on here? 36%. You guys have me until this battery is about to die, and then I gotta get some shit done so that I can wash either later tonight or tomorrow. So what's up? Talk to me. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to know? You want to talk about grow shit? You want to talk about processing stuff? You know? What it is. Pretty sure my boss knows I was high as fuck. We'll see. I hit him up, I'm like, yeah, I just realized I said, have a good weekend. I'm used to talking to you on Fridays. He's like, oh yeah, you did. ... Dots are never good. Whatever. Monitoring dryback is important as shit. Big time. I do IT security consulting for my 9 to 5. So I just got the retainer information right now from the lawyer. I can't share this information with you guys though. Sorry. They have like a big warning label right there. As soon as you open the email, do not share this with anybody. So I'm gonna look at this drybacks real quick for the day. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a breakdown real quick. Last night when I went in there, this was the third time maybe now that it's happened. The right tray had several plants that had dried back way more than other plants on that tray, and none of the other plants on the other tray at all had dried back like that. Now, if that was the first time it would have happened, it would have told me, check the drippers, check the pressure, make sure there's no water channeling going on, blah, 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 blah. Check the airflow at the cube, things like that, right? Check the EC. The higher the EC, the faster the dry back typically. So, things like that. What do you do to fix it? You hand water all the cubes, you get them all back to the same level of saturation, and you flush them at the same time, breaking down any mineral deposit. Now, the second time it happened, then I'm like, what the fuck is really going on? Dig into the mechanical of everything. Replace drippers. Is it the same plants? What's going on? Check the PAR at that plant. Check the airflow, the temperature, leaf surface temperature, everything. All right, still can't figure it out. Now, third time this happened, more plants on the same tray had dried out. What does that tell me? All 3 times, no plants on tray number 2 dried out like that. So they're drinking more. That's it. They're drinking more, okay, which is drying back the cubes more, which is spiking the EC, which is making them dry back more. And so what's the solution? I have to order a second water content sensor for tray 1, because right now I only have it on tray 2. And I need to monitor tray 1 and tray 2 separately because there's 2 different strains. And I need to be able to see how fast tray 1 is drying out so I can know how often to water it versus tray 2, because tray 2 is not having the same issue, or not the same, not even an issue, it's just not drying back as fast. So what I did last night is I went through and hand watered the entire room, everything. Flushed every single cube completely and made sure that everything was equally saturated, right? And so I expected my nighttime moisture content to stay somewhere in the 70s, and what I saw is it was in the 70s, and it stayed there, and then it dropped and started really at 6 o'clock when the lights kicked on. You could see the plant started to transpire more, and that was that sunrise with that blue cryptochrome signaling starting everything off, telling the plant it's time to wake up and drink. So from there, it's watering every hour and a half, I think, for 150 seconds, which turns out to be like 100 mLs or something like that. So let me show you. The plant count's not really known. So, all right, you can see this. So right now we're at 2.8 EC, 73 degrees, 5.6 pH, and 57% water content. Now, if we go into the history here, this is 24-hour graph. Okay, this line going across is 75. Okay, so we're right below that. Now, if we go over, you can see the pH has been stable, EC has been stable. Okay, I mean that fluctuation is like 0.1. It's just from the air stone in there, basically. Now, here is our moisture graph. Okay, now typically what you'll see overnight, that dry back where the moisture was up here last night, this is at 2 in the morning, it'll go down, 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 and get into the 30% range by morning. This is 6 o'clock in the morning right here. So you can see right there, the lights came on, and then boom, the transpiration really started to go. So they dried back, and then boom, at 7 o'clock, they got watered. Hour and a half goes by, they dry back some, and then they get watered. Now, typically this would look different because they would dry back down here, and then they would get watered some, dry back up, up, up. They'd be going up a ladder, and then it would just stay even the rest of the day. Okay, now the EC builds up during this dry period, so overnight the EC is raising as the cube dries, and then as you water it in the morning, you eventually hit full saturation, you're getting that EC back to your input value, right? So it's important to have multiple waterings throughout the day, so that you can encourage that vegetative growth. But so if I go back, maybe, I don't know if a week will show it. No, because it's just now fucking. Let's look at a different day, maybe. So even that day, you could see that was the day that it got below 50% saturation. 49, and then it watered, went up to 52, 53, and it goes up and up and up throughout the day until you reach peak saturation, you know, and then you dry back overnight. This is, you know, not hand watering though. I mean, here's the thing. When you're watering the small amounts like that, you're encouraging a specific type of growth, and when you encourage the higher volumes, you're encouraging a different type of growth there too. So it just depends on what stage of growth that I'm in. I'll do different things with the watering. You know, as I go into flower, I'm going to start feeding closer to, you know, I think it's 120 mLs, 130 mLs, you know, every probably 2 hours. I'm going to monitor those swings though, you know. But I think it's important in cubes with pushing high EC. It's important to run, you know, a high volume flush through the cubes, you know, frequently. I would say, put it like this, every feed that I have throughout the day is 1 minute and 50 seconds. I haven't, you know, tested that to see exactly how many mLs that is. When I was at 140, it was about 80 mLs. So I'm guessing it's somewhere between 90 and 100 mLs, right? But, oh fuck, I just got sidetracked by myself right now, looking at this chat. Fuck you, I don't want to say Vert Boys, Croppo. I do like a 2 minute and 50 second feed every night. The last feed of the day is 2 minutes. It's a whole minute longer than every other feed. And the reason that I do that now is because there have been times where I come in and there's that 1 or 2 plant that just dried back extra throughout the night, and they were on the verge of being too dry in the morning, or, you know, 2 to 3 hours after the lights came on, and it's because they never got a good full saturation because they're drinking more. So at night, I like to do that extra feeding, you know, to make sure that at least they're at full saturation, you know, at the end of the night for the dry back overnight. And then I can gauge that dry back overnight, you know, based on how I want the growth to go. So there's a lot of technique that goes into crop steering that I just learned this past year that are fucking crazy. I'm not moving to Michigan, damn it. For those of you that don't have an automated watering system, I mean, honestly, the best thing that you can do is run a lower EC and a little bit lower VPD, you know, and not push your plants as hard. You can cover your cubes or your media to make sure it stays moist longer and you're not losing moisture in your media to the environment, only to the plant. And realistically, you should fucking automate. Why are you not automating? You know what I'm saying? You should be automating. Excuse me. Cough, cough, El Crapo. Cough, cough, OG Cushionstein. Come on, man. It's 2020. You don't even have to pay like $500 to get a whole Control Master setup and all that. You can do something super simple, like with what El Crapo has. Netafim drip system. You could buy a 250 foot roll of half-inch Netafim for like 40 bucks or 50 bucks. You could buy all the fittings that you need for said Netafim for your tables, trays, or whatever, plus go to your pump for probably $20 to $30, depending on the size of your grow, right? A couple of trays will be like 20, 30 bucks in fittings from dripdepot.com, okay? And then you can get a SureFlow pump from Amazon and a power cord with a wireless or the waterproof power cord adapter. You just wire this up to the SureFlow to a power cable, and then you plug it into the wall. You get a hose and a sprayer attachment, and you can have hand watering built in to an automated system. So if you ever need to hand water, you can just flip a few ball valves, and then now you have an automated water system with Netafim and a SureFlow pump, and then boom, flip a ball valve, and you can hand water wherever you need to. And you can do that for under 200 bucks. The pump was 60 bucks on Amazon. And you'll spend another 70 bucks maybe on Netafim and parts to connect it all. And most people already have a res. And if your water is staying at a 68 to 74 degrees, you should be fine. You don't need a water chiller. Run some Hydro Guard. So let's talk about transition to flower. I don't think we talked about that a lot. And I'm not claiming I do anything proprietary. It's just something I was trained to do by my mentor when I was taught how to grow a long time ago. Hell, Crapo, you hired me, motherfucker? Shit. He was one of the people in the circle of bosses I was talking about. Sorry, let me take care of my little mocos. Little mocos. All right, so I'm running 0.3 gallon power drippers right now, by the way. So, yeah, fucking outside of winter. Crapo, you need to set up that automated system I sent you and stop playing. Look, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Look, everybody, I built Crapo's automated system. Remember the old one that I had from my old room? Remember with the agricultural timer? Goes down to the seconds, and it had like the pump relay. I sent him the whole pump relay, the timer, right? I built him a drip system, some drippers. My man still hasn't installed it. How long has it been? I don't even have enough fake watches to look at to tell you how long it's been. It's been fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something around there months. I'm gonna hire you after you get that one installed. Until you get yours installed, you're in apprenticeship mode. My man's over here expanding. I know y'all saw the Mango Tech meme. Say you better stop. While you were over there hand watering, your wife is getting into an entanglement. You better stop fucking around. You better stop fucking around. All that hand watering. Mm-mm. I do custom installs. I mean, if you guys need it, let me know. Crapo, you know you want to be part of this. want to. I feel like it's almost worth it for me to look into how much it would be just to operate out of state and just have a partner to run the operations. But I don't know if I could. I don't know how that works as far as the product, if it all has to be sold in that area. I'm sure it does. And then financially, because all the financials are tracked, can I be legally over here and still? I'm sure I could. Why wouldn't I not be able to? Look, man, everybody that wants irrigation systems and for whatever reason you just can't figure it out, you don't want to figure it out, and you just want a system built for you, all you have to do is just hit me up and I'll negotiate how much it will be and, you know, be done. Oh shit, is that the rosin bell? It can't be. It must be a fake. It must be a fake. If it's you, tell me what's my favorite weed guess. Find yourself a felon so you can run that weed equity program. I haven't heard of that. I'm gonna take a dab. Been running the pump 130 every hour with 2.2 climb. Yeah, alone. I know you're killing it right now with your shit. Instant wrench. You're still using GH products, Lone? Stop it. Stop it. No more GH. Damn it. I'm not busy enough. So, Bill, what are you saying? You do it? You do what? What I was saying as far as partnering with somebody out of state? I want to do that. Croppo. El Croppo. But I'm not moving all my fucking equipment out there. I don't want it to get stolen. I'm not taking my shit to your hood. Keep my shit right here. Nectar for the gods. Hell yeah. Huh. Interesting. So people with, you said minorities with a conviction? With a weed conviction? That's interesting. Interesting. So much extra shit on this dab tool, like extra rosin from my last like 4 hits. It's just caked up. You're driving right now? Woman! You're always driving. I swear, you're like freaking always on road trips. I'm gonna have to get with you. I'll hit you up on Instagram so I can pick your brain on what you're doing, how you're operating. I just wish California didn't have such a high barrier of entry. Like, I'm sure it's so much cheap. I hear about people all the time. Like I talk with 918 OG over in Oklahoma, and man, he paid like fucking less than 10 racks to get licensed, and he's over there supplying dispensaries left and right. And I'm like, I should be able to do that. I shouldn't have to spend $100,000 to $250,000 just to be able to provide people with the medicine I make. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. It gives me a headache just thinking about that. That somebody else, just because of an imaginary line that we drew in the United States, they pay a fucking cunt hair of the cost of what I'm gonna have to pay. $10,000 fucking dollars. Are you kidding me? I pissed away $10,000 on equipment the past week. That blows my fucking mind. Somebody can spend 10 grand and be in business like that. But I'm over here having to devise a plan to save up my entire life savings and not put my family's future at risk while trying to go into business. Mind-boggling. I'm gonna dab on that one. Need to get on my Rosendale game. That run hits me every time so hard. I just don't know how I could trust the logistics of having a processing facility somewhere that you're not managing 100%. Like if you have to travel out of state to go there to wash, like, I don't know. I guess I could see how that would work if me and Croppo did something, because we homies, so I know, like, I could tell him exactly how to harvest it and get it ready for me, and then I just fly out there and do it in batches. You know what I'm saying? And teach him as I go, but I'm not trying to be flying back and forth too. That's it for me and the wife. That's a safety concern having kids. What if something happens? Shit happens. Look at Kobe. R.I.P. Kobe and his daughter and the rest of the people that were on there, but I'm not trying to be like that. Ever since I had kids, my ass has been earthbound. I think it might stay like that for a while. I don't know. Coast washer. I don't know. I gotta figure out my way forward.
it makes me uncomfortable to to leave my legacy in somebody else's hands. Something that I've built like literally with my hands over the past several years. I would have to make sure that they like train under me for a good amount of time, and I feel comfortable that they can produce the quality of product that I'm used to putting out. Otherwise, I would want to at least not necessarily be there to manually do every single step, but at least supervise. Not micromanage, but at least supervise, right? Because there's a techniques involved. So it's just, I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I would love, you know, to set up something here in California, but it's hard. Like, it's expensive as fuck here, right? But it's also hard to take my business somewhere else where I'm not at. I want my business to be right here with me. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I also don't want to fucking drop 300 grand or 250 grand on this transition when there might be opportunities to do 50 grand could, you know, do a lot more work. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. There's a lot of people that talk. There's not a lot of people that do, which is the problem. And there's the fucking problem is a lot of people talk up until it's like they went past the point of no return where they shouldn't be able to even back out anymore, but then they do. And that's difficult to deal with. So we'll have to see what happens there. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if we're gonna, you know, stay in California long term. I don't think we are, but at least for the next, you know, 15 years probably. So I gotta make some moves. We're already like kind of on our own up here, but my wife's really looking forward to getting back closer to family, so I don't think she's ready to move like out of state or anything yet. And I've moved her away from family already, so I really don't want to do that any more than I already have and put more of a stress on her. We already don't have any help as it is, living like an hour away from family. So yeah, I'm not at the stage where I personally would uproot my family to pursue this business venture. I think if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to figure out a way to do it from where I'm at and either do it here or partner with somebody and do it somewhere else. But I got to do more research into that. I've got to talk to the lawyer about that. I don't think that the requirements and the fees are going to change. Rosin, this bell, I don't think they're going to change anytime soon. I think they're going to get more stringent. I think it's going to get it harder to get in, and I think that the market's going to get flooded. I think the available land and the available licenses are going to be sold and like used up. I think it's gonna get harder. Like my gut instinct tells me if I were to try and do this Cali move, that I've got to start trying to make those moves now. Because right now, a lot of the chads are failing, and there's a lot of opportunity for the craft market to constantly be sold out, especially at my scale. I'm not trying to be a huge facility. I mean, I'm talking lost leaf size, but maybe a little bit bigger. I don't know. It's hard because, like, if I wait for the laws to change, really the way that it should be changing, I should be able to fucking sell my rosin like bracelets on Etsy. You know what I'm saying? It should be like how people are able to buy and sell craft brews and ship them to their homies. You know what I'm saying? That's not illegal. You know, you need a reseller's permit for some of the shit that I know some people are doing. But either way, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're making it yourself, and you own it 100%, you should have the ability to sell it, to trade it, to barter it, whatever. It's your personal property that you literally created. You know what I'm saying? So, if the laws go the way that they should, in the next, I honestly think 3 to 5 years, I think that it's going to be federally legal. I think that the restraints that are on it right now are going to be either completely gone, as far as like how much, you know, a person can grow on their own at home. I don't think it's going to be that heavily regulated anymore. Like right now in California, they try and tell you, oh, you could have, you know, 12 plants or 6 plants or... Excuse me? No. I don't tell you how many fucking cats and dogs you can have, Karen. Fuck out of here. It's so silly. Let me walk around your house and tell you how many fucking aloe plants you can have. Fuck out of here. Yeah. Got the fucking check. Yeah, that's big goals, man. That's cool. I'm not about that. I've never been about that. I don't want to be the big guy. I don't want to be one of the big guys. I want to be that motherfucking nigga that his shit's so fire, it is damn near sold out before it even hits the shelves. I want to be that motherfucking hasher that dispensaries hit me up asking if they can get my product, and I vet them out. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I don't even care if I use it to replace my 9 to 5. If I could even stay at the size I'm at right now and maybe scale up just a little bit to where I have, you know, constant harvest, you know, maybe 3 or 4 of this size rooms plus a bedroom, that'd be it. I'd be cool with that and just do it all on the side and keep my 9 to 5. I'd be totally cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But getting into stores in California is like, it's gonna be difficult because you've got these big brand names that are growing hundreds of pounds of mids every month and washing it, and I'm not gonna compete with their prices. And some shops are gonna be like, oh, well, I don't know, you know, like, we get it, this from so and so for so much, like, and you're asking for more. Like, that's how most dispensaries are. There's not a lot of dispensaries that appreciate true craft flower, craft concentrate, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I try to separate myself from a lot of the other growers out here that grow Seed Junkie and blah 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 and all these hype genetics
Like, not saying they're not good, but they're hype. I don't want to grow hype. Everybody has hype. Everybody had gelato. Everybody had wedding cake and ice cream cake. Now apple fritter and apple fritter crosses and blah 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 blah. Like, I want F3s and fucking above, and I want shit that's been worked. And what I mean by worked is, I mean the genetic lineage has been worked, selected, and selected, and fucking boom, now you have an awesome parent. And then guess what, on this side you also do the same shit, and you start with fire genetics. You have another mom or dad, whatever, and then boom, now you cross those. And guess what, you don't take the first thing that's good out of that. No, you fucking pick the keeper from that, or keepers, and you run those and find, you know, a couple rounds of those, and then maybe you back cross that, right? Boom, now you have something fucking fire and stable as shit, right? That's going to express the specific things that you hunted for throughout your hunt. I don't think a lot of genetics are getting released like that anymore. I think it's a lot of, oh hey look, here's a fire fucking strain that just so happened to pop up, and then now you got every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry crossing that with whatever they have they think is fire. Now everybody's got a cross of the same shit with something else. And then they take that F1 and they're like, look what I did. And then they hand it out, and that shitty F1 that hasn't been bred properly gets spread out. And that's how fucking all these shitty polyhybrids are coming around that people complain about, for those that don't understand the whole polyhybrid nonsense complaints. So, I don't know. I try and fuck with genetics that are a little bit more worked, that aren't as popular on the market, and therefore will be more proprietary to my grow room. I've seen very few people pumping out fire from Honest Genetics. There's maybe like less than 5 people, none in my area that I know of, pumping out Honest Genetics, especially on a concentrate level. So for me, that's kind of been my attack plan at the market. No matter whether it was black, gray, or white, it's always, how can I have something different or bring something different to the market that nobody else has at a quality that most people have never seen, you know? So I think that's part of keeping it small and not scaling up too large, because you need to be able to go through and give that individual care to every plant that I do every day. And that's how you ensure ultimate quality, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, at scale, it's gonna take a lot. You said you asked a question earlier about brands. What's your opinion? All right, check out. Peace out, brother. So, you know, here's my opinion on that. I personally do not ever go out and purchase any meds whatsoever. If I'm gifted something, 9 out of 10 times I either re-gift it or throw it away, because I do not trust a lot of what people say. They can say it wasn't sprayed, they can say it's single source. I've had people lie to my face and tell me it's single source, and then later come to find out it wasn't. Okay, maybe. Everything okay? Everything good?
Yeah.
Alright. And come to find out that it wasn't. It was, oh, well, you know, somebody in the family grew it. It was basically single source. No. There's a big fucking difference. Either it's single source, you grew it from A to Z, you processed it, and you know every step of the way, or you don't. You know? So it's very, very, very
hard for me to trust shit. And if I'm gonna smoke that shit, are you kidding me? I better trust it and know exactly where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? And it's just unfortunate that even some of my buddies, you know, I won't name their names, but some of my people that I consider homies, I wouldn't even smoke their shit. It just is what it is. I only will dab rosin. It can be flower rosin or hash rosin, but it has to be really, really fucking clean. I've got asthma, you know what I'm saying? And my throat gets irritated really easily from smoking, you know, really big dabs or hot dabs or shitty fucking dabs. So I'm not trying to fucking die, you know? And it's just not worth it for me. I either have to have grown it and processed it, or at least know the grower, saw where it came from, and processed it myself. There's certain hashers that I know have similar standards as mine, and I'll smoke their work. And it's not like, oh, it's an honor to them or no shit like that. But I'm so picky that if I do smoke somebody else's work, it really is like fucking, hey, bravo to you, because I'm my own worst critic. I'm really harsh on my own work. So if I'm saying your shit has to be as good as mine or better for me to smoke it, and I'm smoking it, that means your shit is fucking top notch. Like, there's not too many people I can say, honestly, I look at their work or I've had their work and I'm like, man, that's fucking fire. And over the past year of now making exclusively hash rosin, one thing that I've learned is that it doesn't fucking matter how good it looks. There's a lot of this whole fresh frozen wave going around, and I'll tell you right now, I've been saying it from the day I started, right? Solventless Mind says it and a few others. That whole fresh frozen shit is a hyped up fad to get customers to pay more. And 99.9 times out of 100, if you take that same material and you apply a quick dry method to it, where you allow the chlorophyll to break down and off gas, and you get rid of that fresh hay smell that most people trap into their fresh frozen, the terpenes become more concentrated, because you're concentrating the, you know, level of water versus terpenes, right? You're getting rid of water, you're increasing the concentration of terpenes. So you end up with a far superior product. It just has to be done right. And I don't care who argues with that. I'll put up my single source product processed that way versus anybody's fresh frozen any day. You heard it here. I don't care. You get fucking like anywhere from, you know, depending if it's really well grown in good genetics, 20 to 25%, maybe more, back on the wash when you do that dry method, versus wet washing, breaking your back because you have to wash like 30,000 wet grams at once to make it worth it. You know what I'm saying? Which takes a tremendous amount of manual labor. It's just silly. It's silly. It's silly. What's up, Thor? Shout out to Real Thor in the house. Bro, I can't imagine the amount of fucking crazy flavors you have coming out of your garden on that press, because you just have insane genetics all the time and different. I can honestly say I've been following you for a while now, and you fucking have probably the biggest variety of genetics out of any grower I've seen, besides like the huge ops where they're doing like 1,000 seeds at a time to phenolant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're doing crazy shit over there, dog. Crazy shit. So here's the issue with the fresh frozen is the fresh frozen, no matter, all right,
people think that just because you freeze it during, while it's on the branch or right when you take it off, you could CO2 blast it, or not CO2 blast it, liquid nitrogen blast it, right? Whatever you want to do. When you go to wash it, even when your water is like 30 degrees, you're still washing material that has chlorophyll trapped in it. That is going to seep out. Think of it like this. The nug is like an orange, okay? Think of it like an orange. And all of the shit that's on the inside, you got chlorophyll and fucking, you got THC, right? You got your trichomes and all that shit. But you got chlorophyll and plant matter, right? And that's on the inside of the orange, right? And then you got the outer layer, When you're doing fresh frozen, you have to beat the material. When you work the material to break it apart, you're getting chlorophyll. You're getting it, period. It's in there. The only way to not have that in there is to very gently just shake the bag. Oh, you're done, that's it. Otherwise, you're getting chlorophyll taste in there. I haven't had anybody's fresh frozen yet that didn't have the slight green taste to it. And I dare anybody who runs fresh frozen, who gets all defensive about that, to try my method and compare it. And you'll notice the difference is night and day. Anybody with an experienced palate of dabbing solventless concentrates can tell when there's that green taste that was trapped in there from improper processing. I'm sure rosin can tell. Real, you might be able to pick up on it, I'm not sure. But I'm telling you, anybody with an experienced palate who's been processing solventless concentrates for a while, you can pick it up when you dab full melt hash. You can pick it up when you combust trim bin sift on, a doobie or whatever. You can taste it. If it's not clean, if there's more plant material there, you taste it. You went to the dump. So for me, I think that it's all about proper dry sift with freshly frozen material. And when I freshly frozen dried material, okay, freshly frozen dried material, meaning you dried it for however long you want to dry. You don't have to do my quick dry technique. However long you want to dry it, you dry it, and then you freeze it. That's the part most people miss out on. See, Mystic, yo, what up, dog? And yeah, you agree, can't stand the taste now of what, fresh frozen? Yeah, I mean, it's night and day difference. The yield is different. And I laugh at the people that sit there and wash for 6 to 12 hours at a time just to get the same amount of yield. And they were having to wash like fucking 10 times the amount of me, do 10 times the amount of work. And it's like, why? What are you doing that for? Just let it dry a couple of days. Get rid of all that extra water and chlorophyll. And it's such a fucking hype. My quick dry technique, all right, so let's say the standard that everybody hears for drying is 60-60. It's a 12 to 14 day dry typically, right? 60 Fahrenheit, 60% humidity, and with a little bit of airflow. Appropriately spaced out buds, right? So for me, what I like to do is I like to do a 65-55. And what that is 65 Fahrenheit is slightly warmer, but slightly drier, because we're running the 55% humidity instead of 60. So that 65-55 ends up giving me like a 5 to 7 day dry. And I also, what I do So there's a few tricks, and when you're processing and you're growing single source for processing, there's a few things that you have to keep in mind well beyond the processing point. So at harvest, what I do is during the flush, like after I get done with the flush, I stop watering the plants. I let the media start to dry back to a point where the plants themselves, the nugs, the leaves are starting to dry back and curl up a little bit. What that does is it does a couple of things. It's a stress indicator to the plant. It forces it to bulk out a little bit due to the dry back causing the EC spike in the medium, as well as the enriched oxygen in the medium. It's going to force it to bulk out more. And the trichomes on the inner part of the bud are going to start to move to the outer part of the bud with that lower humidity, especially with the humidity from the inside part of the bud being moved to the outside portion of the leaves. It's going to draw those trichomes out. So that starts all at the end of the grow, right? And then when I chop, I've already, technically started drying. And maybe even some of the tiniest buds at the bottom, they only need to hang for 2 days before they start snapping. By day 4 or 5, some of the larger buds might start snapping, and then by day 6, 7, the bottom nugs, all the way to the big nugs, they're like bending, almost snapping. And you can fucking pluck them straight into a turkey bag, and by the time you get done filling up the turkey bag, smell it. Do you smell green? Do you smell fresh hay? If so, leave the bag open. If you don't smell it at all, tie a knot, put it in the deep freezer. You're done. When you're ready to make some money, you pull that bag out, you wash it, you press it, and there you go. And don't vacuum seal it, okay? Vacuum sealing it is going to trap any excess moisture inside there and ruin it. You want to just tie a knot in it and put it in the freezer, because with that knot in there, it allows that excess moisture to still escape slowly. But since it's in the freezer and it's in a closed, dark environment, it's not going to oxidize. The trichomes aren't going to go bad on you. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to lose your terps and all that because you're freezing it. But during that freezing process, that excess moisture is seeping out, and you end up with bags that are perfectly preserved and ready to go for whenever you're ready to wash. And you end up getting, a 20 to 30% yield back as hash that I end up getting usually 25% on Honest Genetics. When I wash nugs, I'll get 25% back as hash, full spectrum, okay, 45 through 159 micron. And then when I press that, I'll get anywhere from 75 to 82% yield. 82 point something was the highest I got, and that's on full spectrum. That's not just the 90 micron where I'm not just pressing full melt to get the highest percentage. I'm pressing full spectrum so you get, full entourage effect. So yeah, Thor, I agree. The higher humidity, I'm not a big fan of. 55, I've always liked it on the lower side, doing a little bit faster or dry, because depending on what you're doing with it after the dry, it doesn't matter if it's a little extra dry. You're not curing it to smoke it. If you're washing it, who gives a fuck? I hope it's brittle and dry. That's what I want, Yeah, there's a lot of fucking experience that goes into figuring all that shit out. I think the plants are watering. Woo! pushing the fuck out. Let's go. I'm gonna have to fill that up. So I think all of these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 finger leaves, except for this one's got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one's got 10. Oh no, there's 11. This one's spitting out 11s now. So, all right, this one's got 11s going on. This one looks like it's also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one's got some 9s. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one's got 9s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This has got 9s. So it looks like all of these are leaning 9s. And I got 111. So it looks like these are starting to lighten up a little bit. I've been running 2.5 EC, and I dropped it down from the 3.3 EC I was running. And can you tell? They're a little bit lighter. Time to increase the nutrients. We're going into flower anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and bump that EC up. Lots of fucking tops in here. I need to make sure I stay on top of training everything and guiding it into the appropriate space. And I need to go through here and defoliate some of the lower branches that I don't intend on keeping. Today, I think we're going down to a 13-hour day, and then tomorrow will be the first day of 12/12. So I don't do a full 24 hours or 48 hours of darkness to kick off flower. I think that's not natural. I try to keep things a little bit closer to what they would experience in nature, which is just the shortening of the days over course of time. Of course, I'm doing a little bit more rapidly. Over the course of about a week, I drop the lights by an hour every day, just to give the plants that signal. By the time the end of that week hits, they've gotten the signal that, hey, something's going on. You know what I'm saying? They know there's something's changing. It's time to do some different shit. But that's just my approach. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun challenge. I'll probably go ahead and lift the net, because there's nothing really being really too supported by it. I can just lift it up and go through and super crop some stuff a little bit, tuck it, leave it, drop the net back down. And right now I'm not really using the net to keep everything in place. I'm just kind of using it to temporarily hold it there while it grows, so that way it can establish the base that I want where it spreads open. And then I'm not really going to need this first trellis until they probably start onsetting buds. So as they go through the stretch, I'm gonna raise the net with them. That way I don't end up with fucking 4 layers of trellis at the end. I'm gonna have probably 2 or 3, and I've already got the second layer set above. So as these stretch the first 2 weeks, I'll monitor the stretch. I'll raise the net as needed, and by the time we have a blanket of buds forming on here, I'll go ahead and drop this second trellis down and get it in position, and we'll be good to go. Once I get buds, I expect the stretch to continue for another week. I usually have flower formation starting by about day 7 to 10. So I'm actually going to do a foliar application. The buds or the plants are nice and warm right now. They've been under some pretty extreme lighting for the past 2 hours or so now. They're under 600 ppfd of this intense blue lighting. They're down to 59, 58% on the moisture content. So what I'm going to do is dim the lights down real low and turn off the fans and all of that fun shit. And then we're going to go ahead and do another foliar application. I did the Lost Coast plant therapy already for IPM, and that was yesterday or the day before. And now we're going to do Power SI and Athena AG stack. And that's going to help with nutrient uptake, and it's going to help with the kelp as a natural PGR to help the nodes stack harder. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the comments. Yes, I am going to be re-vegging the keepers. I have my eye on a couple already, so. So give me a minute. I'm gonna run and grab some stuff for this real quick. My tea recipe is all over Instagram and YouTube already. It's Recharge. Right now, Elite 91 Roots and Microglyph BMC. Once a week or twice a week as needed. Okay. Some stuff. I didn't do that. Somebody asked me for the model number on this. I should post it. Somebody asked me. Okay, there. So, this holds 1500 ml, 1400 to be exact. This is probably going to be way too hard. I gotta look up the new recipe. I think they modified it. I think they said to use more now. They had it at a lower rate. Let's see what they say. I think the SI is at 2 mLs per gallon now, and the stack is at 7. So it's, yeah, the stack is at 7 mLs and the power SI is at 2 mLs. Okay. So I'm gonna mix up a gallon because I got a lot of foliage in there now that I gotta cover. But I'm just gonna add all the ingredients in here and then actually hold on. I have a bucket for this. We'll add a whole gallon in here and we'll mix it in here because I know I'm gonna need a gallon. Oh, I love this pump, it's so amazing. Oh, look at that. Fucking amazing. Alright, that's a gallon. A little bit more, but that's okay. So we're going to go with 2 mLs of the original Power SI. And when we mix our fresh res for nutrients this week, you know, I'm flipping a 12-12 tomorrow, so son of a bitch, who put this on? So I'm going to want to have the Power SI bloom in the reservoir. So I'll switch to the bloom in the res, and I'll be doing a foliar application of this regular SI. And then, where's my stack? Stack is kelp and plant extracts. Alright. Alright, so now we're going to go in here and we're going to go ahead and check the pH. I want to know I wanna know what love is. Set you guys down, hold on. Low, 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 way too low. Gonna up that shit right now. Take a little bit, just a little bit, and then we're gonna do some wizardry. You ready? That was 3 drops of Spectrum Formula Pure Concentrate pH up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start a little cyclone in here, monitor the pH, and just add a tiny bit at a time back to this and see how it raises my pH. I'm aiming for about a 6 pH. Took it up to about 3.5. Take it real slow too. When you're working with such a small volume of water, small adjustments. That's why I dilute it, because you know, one little pour can shoot you up several points, and you don't want to overshoot, because you can't add pH up and pH down you know, in concentrated forms to the same container. They fight with each other. So it's better to just take your time. If you're unsure, just let it sit there for a minute. Let it take its time to adjust. Like right now, I'm barely at 4 pH, and that's fine. I'm taking my fucking time. 4.2, 4.3, 4.5, 4.6. Off that last pour, 4.7, 4.8. And that was diluted, 4.9. That last little squirt right there, let's see what that does. Look, 5. So then I probably need like a couple more drops. I would like my pH to be closer to 6 on this spray. So again, I'll just get a little bit from the bucket, and I'll just add a couple drops directly to it. And I have some in the syringe still. If I need some more, I can top it off again. But again, I just really small amount right here. You know, for those of you guys that have larger grows and you're mixing up, you know, 5-10 gallons at a time, it'll probably be a lot easier for you. You know, but Us small guys, especially you guys that are smaller than me, you're not even gonna need a whole gallon. It might just be beneficial for you to make a gallon anyways, to make it easier to mix. And then you can, you know, put whatever you don't use that day in the fridge and save it for, you know, the next spray if you're gonna spray again in the next couple days. So now I'm up to 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, 6. All right, that's it. I'm good right there. I don't gotta do shit else. 6.1. If it goes to 6.2, that's fucking perfect. 6.2 is what they recommend, so. 6.1. I'm fucking Gucci with that shit. Okay? So, go ahead and throw that back with those sensors in the main reservoir. Stay there. So I'm just loading up the machine now. Pouring the okay. Then I'm going to grab my glove on. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and dim the lights. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take them off the recipe real quick. Grab a fucking loads in. Gotta close my app and reopen it. It's acting up. Give me a second. We got this all loaded up and ready to go. Drop down to 38 ppfd. Now, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna take you for a ride. Hopefully it stays connected. That big bitch. Why did I pour it into here and not just straight into there? I don't know. Sativa leaning for sure, and that one too. Well, at least I think. We'll see. God damn it. Okay. Gotta reprogram these. You know, bitches, I just stay in here to jam out. All right. Yo, this sprayer is not expensive if you guys want one. On Amazon, they're like, I think like 120 bucks or 80 bucks. I can't remember. Give you guys the link right now. Yeah, those cake nut cherries are growing fast. So the mix is Power SI Original and Athena AG Stack. That's 7 mLs a gal. Fuck a dog. That's the mix. So that mix is going to help the stack pretty much. During this transition, you know, I'm going to point out Lost Leaf again because it's a good talking point. This isn't a bad thing. This is so both he and I are running the same lights, and I saw that he recently told somebody during the stretch, to prevent stretch, he'll drop the reds 100% for the first 2 weeks and just run the blues, as well as a couple other changes. Now, me personally, I think that you need to establish a baseline running the plant at in a dialed environment with dialed nutrients with the baseline spectrum at 100% all channels, right? From there, you establish how the plant, that specific cultivar, responds to those spectral intensities, and then from there you can know how you want to change the spectrum to change the morphology of the plant. If you wanted to stretch more, or not stretch as much, etc. Foliar applications can also help steer the plant towards that specific growth that you're looking for. The Power SI will help
help increase stacking. It will help nutrient uptake and prevent stretch. And then the stack is a natural PGR derived from kelp, and it also is going to help with stacking, creating more node spaces and branching. I have to look more into the Athena IPM mix, but I think I have my bases covered with the Lost Coast plant therapy. I think less is more with IPM for me. The most I ever get nowadays is a couple fungus gnats, and I'm able to handle them with sticky traps, and none of their larvae ever even make it because I'm constantly dosing that microglyph BMC as well as SF nematodes, a couple times throughout the grow. So the stuff that really does the damage, which is inside the root zone, never really has a chance to do anything. And that's how I get ahead of the fungus gnat mix. People have this misconception that fungus gnats come from overwatering, and I say, all right, if that's the case, pour a cup of water, place it on the table, and show me where the fungus gnats come from. I want to see the fungus gnats come out of the water. Fungus gnats do not come from overwatering. You could overwater your plants all day long and not get a single fungus gnat if you're in a sealed environment following proper IPM protocol, gowning before you come in, etc., etc. Okay? Overwatering exacerbates an already existing fungus gnat issue. It also invites fungus gnats, right? Now, to combat it, you have to keep your environment clean first and foremost. The first step in IPM is prevention, okay? And then cultural and sanitation, right? So we gotta make sure that we're on top of those things. And you're gonna get your fungus gnat from walking in and out of your grow room. Like, I'm in my garage. I cannot fucking help it. No matter how hard I try, fungus gnats are gonna get in here. Just for me opening the door. That's it, it's all it takes. Even when I get a fan to blow shit away as I open the door, they're probably still gonna get in on my clothes, It's inevitable. So the best thing you could do is be ahead of it by having prevention and by having something in the medium all the time that is not going to allow the larva to propagate and create issues. I don't care if I see a gnat or two buzzing around. They'll get fucked up by a sticky trap. They'll die from, lack of food or from CO2 within a couple days. I'm not worried about the flyers. It's what's in the root zone. Unless it's a moth. If you get a moth in your grow room, they will lay eggs, which turn into worms or caterpillars, and they will crawl all through your leaves and eat your shit. Yeah. I mean, here's a good example of how easy it is to get a fungus gnat, right?